Kasak Keperu here for Project Illuminated, and today I want to talk to you about how your thoughts are your enemy. But more specifically, what I mean by that is some people get trapped in the same thought, and we call that a thought loop, where an idea, something that happened to them, or an emotional event, or a belief system, or like I said, an idea, concept, something they dwell on over and over again. It becomes this loop that goes over and over. It's like a hamster on a wheel going nowhere fast. So what that's about basically is what we call the trance state. So when you have a particular thought that you tend to dwell on a lot, it creates an alternate state of consciousness where it becomes very difficult to get out of that state. And the interesting thing about that is that we are in trance like every day, and we go in and out of trance all the time. Now, what happens when you have a thought, idea, concept, whatever nomenclature you want to use that you keep dwelling on over and over again is it creates this alternate reality for you, and you don't see the world in the same way. So let me explain a little bit deeper, because your thoughts become your reality. When that happens and you take yourself out of that state, that trance state, you have actually created an alternate dimension or alternate reality that actually exists in some way, shape, or form on a different level of a space-time continuum. So, for example, if I were to think about how if I had only walked up and did better at that job interview and got the job, how my life would have been. The more I dwell on that, the more of a reality it becomes, and the more emotionally empowered that idea and that thought becomes. And when I take myself out of that trance state, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but what happens to that reality? It's been supercharged by your emotions, so it actually exists. It actually exists on some other level or other plane. Now remember, keep this in mind, you cannot envision non-reality. So everything that you do think about, that you do imagine, exists. And we know that everything exists simultaneously at one in the same space and time that you are taking up here and now. Now, when you have a thought and that you're continually dwelling on it and you're emotionally charging it, if it's a negative thought, what happens is you create a negative entity or a negative spirit. And people call that, you ever hear somebody talk about giving you the evil eye? Well, when you supercharge a negative emotion, it takes on a life of its own. And it will go out there in the ether and it will do things. It will be picked up by other people. It'll go and cause your life a little bit of hell, and you'll equate this to what we call as bad luck. So you have to be careful in the thoughts that you harbor and make sure you're harboring the most positive thoughts. Now, if you ever find yourself dwelling on something to where it consumes you emotionally, and you find that you're caught in this thought loop, what you need to do is make sure you take yourself out of it. But the best way to take yourself out of it is never to get in it. So you have to understand what the trigger mechanism is, what triggers that thought loop, and try as much as possible to deal precisely with that trigger, which is the origin of where it's coming from. Some people say, well, you have to have a counter thought that is painful, that gives you the idea that if you were to dwell on this thought, it will cause you pain. You don't want to do that, because then you're dwelling on the idea that something can bring you pain, and that's not what you want to do. You want to understand that there is nothing has a quality in and of itself, so nothing really is truly good for you or harmful. It's all on your perspective and how you look at something. So again, you want to understand what the trigger is, and you want to work and start to look at what belief system are you harboring that invokes that idea, that concept, or that emotion. And that's what you have to deal with, because inevitably all of these thought loops and all of these different realities come from a belief system that we have. A belief system that maybe we should be rich, that we should be healthier, we should be more good looking, we shouldn't have the troubles that we have. Those are all belief systems, and they do create multiple realities that we simultaneously exist in or coexist in, and they're going on right here and now. So again, be careful of your thoughts, because they can become your enemy, because those thoughts can get supercharged, and then they can go out there and cause havoc, sometimes to other people and a lot of times to yourself, because inevitably a negative thought is unhealthy for your physical body, which the ancient Kemetic people called the Geb aspect, the physical health body, the vehicle, in other words. So try to think happy thoughts, positive thoughts, and you create a different reality for yourself if you supercharge those happy thoughts with your emotion. So this is Kasakma Keparu for Project Illuminated, and that's all for now.